Real Estate Real Talk. I'm Marilee Rowley, broker owner of Selling Salt Lake, which is a local real estate brokerage in Salt Lake City, Utah, actually in South Jordan. And today it's January 6th, 2026. And so we are going to talk about goal setting. I know that is such a unique topic for this time of the year. Nobody talks about it. But I actually love talking about goal setting and doing goal setting planning sessions. And so I wanted to share a few of the things with you that I like to do to kind of get me into a fresh new mindset every year or quarter or whatever. And the first thing I did actually when I decided to become a goal setter was in 2011, I wrote my own bucket list. It has 101 items on it, and I have been working on those for the last 15 or so years. And, right, 2026 minus 2011. Yeah, for about the last 15 years, I've been working through my bucket list, and I wrote it when I was 38, and so I gave myself credit for things that I had already done because I wasn't starting brand new, but I wanted to be able at the end of my life to look back and say, this is how I spent my life. I mean, yes, I worked and I did other things, but these are the things that I focused on in my life that were meaningful to me so that at the end of my life, I know what I had a trajectory for how I wanted to live my life. And it has all kinds of things on it. It has things like falling in love, which I gave myself credit for already when I was 38 when I wrote it. Having kids, starting my own business, getting a bachelor's degree, which I finally did when I was 49. So it took me 11 years after I set that goal. But because it was on my bucket list, I was focused on it and I got it done. It has things like form deep and lasting friendships, which I have marked on my bucket list as ongoing because those are things that you never really truly do or like finish accomplishing. Those are things that you invest time and energy into all the time. Offer service to a humanitarian cause. I have 3 humanitarian causes that I like to engage with and donate to. And so that's on my bucket list. I have sing karaoke to a live audience. I've now done that several times, much to the chagrin and disenjoyment of the fellow audience attendees. I'm a terrible singer. I have on here earn a black belt, which I'm working on right now. I've at this point achieved my advanced blue belt, so I still have a lot of belts to go, but I'm way farther ahead than I was when I hadn't even started it. I have be a vegetarian for 1 month, which I did, which I actually really enjoyed that. Paragliding, which I did with my sisters and in Cancun a few years ago, which was super fun. I have things on here like a half Ironman triathlon, which I was planning to do this year, but which now I'm thinking might not be in my best interests. And so I might substitute that with some other goal. A bucket list should be a living document that you can modify, you can change it, you can adjust it to fit your current needs. But it still kind of gives you guidance for your whole life. So I love my bucket list. I love talking about it, thinking about it, focusing on 1 or 2 goals a year that are standalone, achievable goals. I had learn a new word every day for a year, which I did like in 2016. I subscribed to an online word of a day calendar, and then I learned a word every day. And by the middle of the year, I was like so bored with learning a word every day. But I still did it. I finished learning my word every day. I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube. I ran a marathon, so your bucket list things can be whatever is meaningful and delightful and amusing to you. It doesn't have to be something crazy. Every goal on it shouldn't be really, really hard to accomplish. Some things should just be things that are interesting to you that you devote the time to do. So it's kind of the governing document for my life. And I look at it every year and decide which goals I'm going to work on for that particular year. So that is how you do a bucket list. It's really fun. Like I said, I have 101 items. In the spirit of modifying my bucket list, I actually had to remove one of my goals because one of my goals was to make somebody else do something, and that didn't ever work. So I had to just take that off my bucket list. So now I only have 100 items. But that one was make my husband and kids write bucket lists, and no, they wouldn't do it. So I had to take that off. And that was a good lesson for me in realizing you can't make people do things that they don't want to do, nor should you try. So that is another way I had to modify my bucket list. I am also enrolled, as I'm sure many people are, in TikTok University. Are you taking classes at TikTok University? Which just means, are you scrolling TikTok and learning new things all the time? I am learning new recipes, and I'm learning new ideas and lots of things. I really enjoy scrolling on TikTok for a little while every day. And one of the things that I discovered on TikTok, and I wish I knew who this creator was. I have no idea because I have a terrible memory these days for things like that. But one of the things I learned was this idea that how do I describe this? It's sort of the understanding of why we feel overwhelmed all the time, or maybe not all the time. Maybe you don't feel overwhelmed at all, which is great. You should keep that. But for those of us who do feel overwhelmed all the time, it was an interesting sort of analogy. Like if you have this thing that you have to do, and this thing that you have to do, and this thing that you have to do, and you work from home, or you have a job that has just ongoing things that need to be accomplished, then it's sort of like having all of these tabs open in your mind. And it's really hard to focus on and close the tabs if you have too many open. So if you're like, oh, I need to make dinner, but also I need to get my car serviced, and also I need to call this client or whatever, you have all those things open, then it's really hard to focus and you just feel overwhelmed. So the idea is to start closing those tabs. And that way it kind of frees up brain space for all of the other things that you need to do and helps you feel less overwhelmed over time the more you do it. And then I paired that with another idea I learned on TikTok, because I have the propensity to procrastinate things that I want to do. And this creator's idea was, if something that you know needs to be done only takes 2 minutes to do, just do it right now. It's only 2 minutes. And so if you need to change that light bulb that's been out for 2 weeks, just do it right now. And that way you can close that tab. So anything that you can do that you know needs to be done, and there's no getting out of it, like it's an inevitable task, and it takes 2 minutes or less, just do it right now, get that over with, close that tab. So those were two things on TikTok that I put together that I've been really trying to do over the last couple of months to close my tabs that are continually open in my brain by stopping procrastinating small things that can be done right away. And those two things have really helped me to focus on the bigger ticket items, the things that really count in my life. I'm not getting distracted by some of those other things. So that's a good way to accomplish goals, is by eliminating the distractions that you're experiencing. Last thing I would say that I learned on TikTok that is really good for goal setting is, instead of setting a goal, just focus on one new habit that you want to incorporate into your life. And for me, I decided, okay, I can do a new habit at a time if I only have to do one. Like, it's so hard to do so many different things, right, all at the same time. So I'm just focusing on one thing, and I'm just going to do that one thing until I feel like it's really a habit. And that could take a quarter, it could take a whole year, it could take a half a year, it doesn't matter. But the one new habit that I'm working on establishing this year is a reliable, repeatable morning routine. Because my morning routine varies wildly based on how I feel, or how much sleep I got, or if what I have to do that morning. And so what I realized is my morning routine just needs to be started at a specific time, and it needs to incorporate 3 things, which are do a workout, walk my dogs, and eat a nutritious breakfast. And if I can do those 3 things every day, then, and it's repeatable and it's simple and I can do it at the same time every day, then that is a habit that I can create, develop, and install permanently in my life. Here's hoping. But that's the morning routine, or that's the daily habit that I am trying to instill right now. Instead of trying to do a whole bunch of goals, just one daily habit. And then once that's incorporated, then you can start another one. So that's what I would leave you with today is I encourage everyone, and obviously I couldn't talk my kids or my husband into doing it, but I encourage everyone into creating a governing document for your life. Things that you want to do that are interesting, important, amusing, entertaining, fun for you, so that when you get to the end of your life, you can look back on your bucket list and you can see all the things that meant something to you, when they meant something to you, when you accomplished them, and how you felt after you got that done. I think it helps to create a life that is enriching and fulfilling. And we're going to show you some screenshots of my bucket list so you can see how I organized it. Of course, you can do yours however you want. But I do encourage people to create a governing document for your life. Call it whatever you want. Close those tabs in your brain. Stop procrastinating those small little things that you could do right now that take 2 minutes or less, and establish just one daily habit and see if that helps. See if you like that. See if those things make your life more fulfilling to you. And if one of the things on your bucket list is to invest in a new property or buy a new house, one of the things on my bucket list was build a dream home, which I was able to do with my husband. That I can help you do those things. So you don't even have to do it on your own. So give me a call. Let me know if there's something I can do to help you, and happy 2026. Cheers to a great year.